start with Kevin Bragg on the water ballot measure. On November 2nd, West Linn voters will be asked to authorize water system investment and a new rate structure. Do you think this measure is justified? How and why?
Well, I think this conversation needs to start with the water master plan. There's been a lot of debate about the 2004 and 2008 master plans, and really the substantial difference is the inflation that occurred between 2004 and 2008. The 2008 plan looks a lot more expensive because it was drafted when construction costs were historically high during the boom. And for instance, the city just did a water main improvement on the street where I lived, and those bids came in pretty close to 60% of what was predicted in the 2008 plan. So we can see that the infrastructure costs currently in the climate we have right now today are going to be quite a bit lower than those in the 2008 plan. And regarding the contention between the two plans, I think the vast majority of the people in the city agree with 95% of what's in the plans. And we should probably get started on doing those parts. The other 5%, the contentious part, comes down to a question of who do you trust? Do you trust that the city council is going to properly administer the plans? There's a very simple answer to this, and that's to adopt a water standard to assure the voters that the excess capacity, the new pumps, the bigger reservoirs, are for their benefit. And the consultant, the staff, and our experienced council allowed this very simple issue to get muddied up with a lot of talk of alternative methodology. In the real world, if you change methodologies, like in accounting, like you're comparing pounds of apples to bushels of apples, you take the methodology, you transfer one forward, you transfer the other back, and you have a very clear answer to how the methodology changed. And so we need to set a water standard that assures the people of West Linn the extra water is for them. As for the rates, I prefer a tiered rate that's a little more progressive and would assure more conservation, and we can protect the schools and the public parks by having a special rate for public purposes.
I'm very much in favor of the new rate system that's going to be on the ballot November 2nd. There's two elements to this that I think are both very important. The first being that we have a very aging water system. The 2008 master plan that was adopted outlined all the improvements that are needed. That includes a replacement of the Bolton Reservoir, which is 97 years old, replacement of pipes that are over 75 years old, and newer pipes that have not aged as well as some of our older pipes. This is an increasing need. It's not going to become less in the coming years. The rate increases that we've had for our water system have allowed us to repair but not replace the needed infrastructure. The second part of this rate is to have a conservation rate. This new rate is based on you pay for the water you use. We currently pay for 7 units no matter how much water you use. But if you're a small family or a single family, just one person in a household, you don't use 7 units of water unless you have a lot of lawn. So people who use a minimal amount of water, who really conserve, don't water their lawn, actually will not be paying much more, if any more, than they are currently, because we'll be paying starting with the first unit of water you use. This water rate will encourage people to conserve. If you don't want to pay as much money, you conserve on your water. So I'm very much in favor of this measure that's on the ballot November 2nd for both of those reasons. Thank you.
All right, Mike.
In 2008, the City Council adopted a new water system master plan to provide clean, safe drinking water through build-out. While there are increases in storage capacity, these increases did not include the potential development of the Stafford region, as some would suggest. The increases were mandated by new engineering standards and an anticipated build-out population of 29,000 plus citizens. Oregon City and West Linn draw water from the same source and pay the same wholesale rate. However, Oregon City's water bills are twice as high as West Linn's. As a result, Oregon City can make the improvements necessary for their citizens. Our income is simply insufficient to fund the maintenance projects required. We can't And if we don't increase rates, we're being penny wise and pound foolish. Planned improvement and replacement is much more cost effective than trying to deal with each emergency as it comes along. Much of our current system is decades old, and if left unrepaired, would threaten our clean water and our livability. The Council has put a ballot measure on the November 2nd ballot that would provide a rate structure that would fund required maintenance and create conservation pricing, which means that we pay for the water we use. If we use less water, we pay less. That is responsible and fair. If we don't pass this measure, there will not be adequate funding for maintenance or capital improvements in the next biennium. It is a burden, but it is a burden I am willing to accept as a homeowner in West Linn.
Gail Holmes. I struggle with this water issue because one of the things that bothers me the most is the way that it is structured. So we say that we want to conserve water, which is good. We all should do that. But if you have a business in West Linn, how are you going to be affected? I was just at my hairdresser this morning, getting my hair done, which was, a lovely thing to do. And then I looked around and I realized how many people are coming in and out of this salon and how much water they're using. How are they going to be affected by that? When I read the article in the paper yesterday, it stated that if you were using 76 units per month, then you'd be paying $241 for your water bill in 2015. So how is that going to affect schools, businesses? We as individuals can conserve our water. That's pretty easy to do. But I'm worried about it affecting whether you're a coffee shop or such. So I would have to say no. I do think that we need to have a safe and secure water system. Conservation, absolutely. But the high fees on the businesses, I just don't see how that's retainable.
I personally disagree with this measure. I believe that it's being brought forth without sufficient transparency. Some voters are confused by the way the measure is worded, and I believe that if people are confused by the way that it's worded, then it can't be trusted by those people. I agree with conservation, but I think that the city is hiding a rate increase behind a banner of conservation. And while it's a very good idea to improve the water system, I've not seen any of the data that says that we must make all of the improvements that we have to make. Yes, we have to repair the Bolton Reservoir. Yes, we have to replace a lot of pipes. It's not my place, however, to decide on this. It is the people of West Linn's choice. It's already on the ballot, and this isn't my city. It's not the council city. It's our city. We all live here, and it's our choice to make on the ballot.
All right, thank you.